Greetings from Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where the Sooners lost 37-17 in their final game of the 2024 season. They end this year 6-6, going to a bowl game, destination unknown. Eric Bailey, Mason Young, here on a chilly Saturday evening, open air press box. So we were bundled up like this all night. Tough game for the Sooners, down 24-17 at halftime. Is that the correct score? And then they give up a few touchdowns late in the game, give up 13 points in the second half. Can't get anything offensively, but everything looked so good in the first half they were tied 17-17, defensive score, R. Mason Thomas with a scoop and score. They scored, moving the football, had some drives together, looked good in the second quarter, but the wheels fell off and they just couldn't get anything going. It was just didn't have that complementary football that we saw against Alabama. Everyone's hopes were so high after that Alabama game. Brent Venables even said it. He wished he could point and said we had a bad week of practice. He hoped that everyone wasn't encouraged and pumped up for this game. He said, I can't say that. We just got outplayed.
Yeah, I mean, they were rolling on that one touchdown drive that you mentioned. They hit a 50-yard pass from Jackson Arnold to J.J. Hester, and then Arnold and Xavier Robinson were able to help him punch it in, and they had the lead at that point. We're leading 14-7, and then everything just falls off the rails from there. You know, LSU returned a kickoff 100 yards for a touchdown, and then got a stop, and then had a touchdown drive. Garrett Nussmeier came back in the game after getting hurt by our Mason Thomas early, and he went off. He had 2 touchdown passes of 40-plus yards, was just bombarding an OU secondary that has been exposed at times this season. And Brent Venables saying after the game, that's the number one thing that they got to shore up for this defense. This was a pretty close to elite defense this year, but if they're going to really take that next step next season, getting better at corner and safety is something that's got to be priority one for shoring things up. So just too many. Just after that, all the momentum was gone. LSU had all the momentum, and there was nothing OU could do. They even tried something as boneheaded as a tight end double pass, and of course that didn't work because everything Bauer Sharp touches turns into disaster. So he throws the pick, and at that point in the third quarter, like midway through, game's over.
It's funny, too, because just a couple of days earlier on Tuesday, I asked Brent Venables, do you feel like this is an elite defense? And I think we found an answer tonight. Gave up so many explosive plays, something that they haven't really done a lot this year, and it really impacted them. So I guess everyone looks fast forward, and my question to Brent Venables tonight, is this going to be a crazy week? And he didn't like the word crazy, but I really think it is going to be a crazy week because he said they're going to make an offensive coordinator hire in the next few days, his words. So we'll see who comes in as offensive coordinator. You have signing day on Wednesday, where they're going to see if they can keep some of these recruits in. We'll see what happens on Wednesday. And then the transfer portal opens up at the end of the week, where he says they're prepared for anything. He even said there could be some surprises. We asked Jackson Arnold after the game if he was going to stay. He said there's nothing really reason for him not to stay, but he really left it a little open-ended as well. I asked him about that. He said he wants to wait and see who the offensive coordinator hire is, but I'm sure he's going to weigh his options to see if he's going to stay for the Sooners. Jackson, really tough night again, had a turnover late, really carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders also. Really, when Oklahoma was most effective was with his legs, scrambling a little bit. But LSU, I'm sure they looked at the game film from last week with Alabama. What he was able to do against Alabama, he wasn't able to do as effectively tonight against LSU's defense. They really honed on in him. He didn't have his top 6 receivers tonight, and they really impacted the pass game. And just a tough night for Jackson. So where do we go from here?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's got to be a lot of changes here in the next couple days. This was probably Joe John Finley's last game at the University of Oklahoma, more likely than not. Has been the tight ends coach for the last several years and was the interim play caller for the back half of this season after Seth Luttrell was fired. So probably a new, as you said, a new face, change in offensive leadership on the way within the next couple hours. And then from there, it's holding together what's currently the number 11 signing class in the nation, trying to do that and get everybody signed on December 4th. And then it's scouring the portal once the portal opens on December 9th. Brent Venables talked about I think you mentioned it, there might be some surprises. They got to be prepared and nimble to account for that. One such, maybe not so much a surprise, but just one such possibility is Jackson Arnold getting in the portal and them needing to find a quarterback to lead their offense next season. So there's a lot. It's going to be, whether Brent Venables wants to admit it or not, it's going to be hectic. He's going to have a lot on his plate in the next couple weeks, and we'll be able to cover it all. Keep track of all our coverage of the next couple weeks of OU football. The Winds of Change on OUSportsExtra.com and TulsaWorld.com.